Same spot, different topic for the day. So today's topic is again going to be a bit on relationship, something more interesting, and I'll also tell you why. Right, September has been a fantastic month for me in terms of deeper social connection. Something that I spoke about last week is kind of strengthened some connections with some new people and deepened my connections with existing people and some friends that I had. So that was quite exciting for me, put me in a very positive frame of mind. And I was preparing for something more deeper, and I thought I should probably do a topic on principles of natural attraction, particularly from an angle of a man, right? In the sense, how should a man behave such that he can attract a very high value woman, for example, right? Yeah, things that a man should be doing, things that a man should be avoiding, more importantly, to get a to find the right partner for himself. Masculine frame, little bit on feminine behaviors and characteristics around that, and we'll also see how to tie that to Tamil literature, something that Thirukkuarl wrote in Thirukkuarl, a great Tamil literature which was written 2000 years ago. The interesting thing is that I was talking about this, not Thirukkuarl, but some of these traits that a man should ideally have with some of my ex-Eagle engineers. So 6, 7 of us, we met at a restaurant for lunch yesterday, and we had the topic was going on what's going on in life, and a couple of them who are in early 30s, they mentioned, when you're settled, you have a family, reasonable amount of money, and there's nothing to worry about. Then I asked them, what is it that's bothering you there in your late 20s or 30s? And then he said two things. One is money. I said, great, you have a job, kind of sorts that part out, right? What's the next one? He said, relationship. I think they had some bad relationships, a couple of failed, let's say, love relationships that didn't go the way it wanted, kind of left a very bitter taste and a scar on them. So that was quite evident. And then we got going a little deeper. And I thought this was a very important topic because these are not taught, again, to people. Fathers don't teach their sons. It's not that the fathers know themselves, right? Um, so these are not taught, not really spoken much about. A lot of misinformation that goes out on, let's say, social media. And then on one end, you have the manosphere a little too extreme, dissing women and putting all of them as, let's say, gold diggers and manipulators, for example. And then on the other hand, you have these feminists and other people who glorify whatever women do. Things generally don't seem to really work very well for people. And a lot of them are quite confused. So the one that I'm going to talk about today is more about what a man should do or avoid to put himself in the best possible position to be able to attract women, irrespective of what age the man is at. And typically, I'm just guessing he's an adult, at least 18 plus, and is looking to attract women. That's about it, right? Cool. So let's get started. I know the introduction was pretty long, but I think it was very good. Number one, thumb rule, hypergamy, right? Now, for people who are wondering what is hypergamy, it's very straightforward. The way it's defined as evolutionally, women tend to seek a partner who's higher in value, someone with ambition, skill, and better resources than what she has, right? So this is not again called gold digging. In generally, I see that in Twitter and other forums. The minute a girl says, I want somebody who earns better, has a higher degree, then people call that as gold digging. No, that's actually not gold digging. It's simple evolutionary psychology of that's how women marry people, and that's how women will marry men going forward in life. And that has shown to work pretty well. And the reverse doesn't actually work well. So women will seek someone up and across. That's like it's not the same level, at least up and across, right? Slightly higher level than them. That is necessary for them to make themselves feel secure and safe so that the husband kind of gives us the signal, the mate gives us the signal that "Oh, I can take care of you, I can provide and protect you, right? That's the fundamental aspect that's required. So why am I saying that, right? It's not about what kind of women, what kind of men women are looking for. That's exactly what I'm coming to. If you remember that every single thing is rooted to a large extent in hypergamy, then your actions have to befit or match what her expectation is, isn't it? right? So that is why I'm just mentioning about hypergamy. So this gold digging and all of that is a myth. Whatever, a lot of times you will hear that from manosphere. That's not true. A lot of what they said is also true, but not everything is true. That's what I'm saying. If you are someone who shows a lot of skill or ambition, right? That is something that you should say, that you should not be a dad. That's about it. If you can have that, pretty cool. You show future potential. Most likely, a woman would is likely to bet on you. So it's not always you need to be rich and tall and famous. That's not always right. Right, right. Cool. So that's on the hyper game. I want you to keep this in mind because this has relevance to whatever we're going to continue to talk about in the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I'm not really going to time it. It's going to be slow and steady. Whatever you say, you talk, you type, you meet, make sure this satisfies hypergamy because continuously you're under some kind of evaluation by the female. They do it either consciously or they do it subconsciously. We'll go into that too as to why they do it. If you're not sure what to say, keep quiet, right? Don't try to wing it. It will not work. So just keep hypergamy in mind, whether you type or talk or keep quiet. So number one. So this is number two. I'll go in some not necessary order, but some kind of order of notes that I want. You cannot manufacture attraction. You can never do that, particularly with women, right? There can be instances where a man doesn't like the woman, he'll still marry and still be fine. A lot of men marry like that. The reverse, when they do, it's hell, right? It doesn't really work. You cannot manufacture a woman's attraction. You cannot buy her love. It's not going to happen. Right? They're not wired that way. Either they have it because you're of a certain type that she wants, or you don't. That's about it, right? Don't try to buy her attraction or love. It has to be natural and from her side. Don't ever force it, right? Continuously, clinging on to her, chasing her, giving her, gifts to try and buy her loyalty or love. None of those things will ever work. It doesn't satisfy the base rule of hypergamy, and it doesn't satisfy some of the other rules as well that women use to evaluate you as a partner. So don't do that. Don't do things that are manipulative to get her attraction, acting as a brave man when you're not, or doing stupid things. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories of men doing a lot of stupid things to gain attraction or a favor from a girl that they like. You will be surprised to know that women know it in most cases, right? So, for example, just recently I was talking to a friend of mine. She's a woman. She's looking to marry someone, and then she called me and said, I need some help. I'm speaking to some guys. This is what happened, and so we were just discussing a few characteristics of how men behave. And she was telling about at least 7 or 8 different very despicable, desperate men who do all kinds of monkey jumpings and traits to gain her favor. And in every single instance, she was able to find out that he's posturing and manipulating, right? So don't do that. It lowers you in standards. You're never going to get a girl if you behave like that. One thing I can tell you is while I said attraction cannot be manufactured, women are a bit malleable in the sense that they may not like you today, but if you level up to a certain extent or meet certain standards, or they see that you're going in a direction which is steady and grounded and upwards, they're going to change their opinion. That happens quite often. We can talk to a lot of people who've gained value in their social status, and yeah, women flock them. What else? Yeah, there's very little better feeling than a woman loving you. That's that much I can tell you. That and when that happens, it kind of almost doubles the firepower that the man can potentially have in life. Yeah, so they care, they give for you. You feels like very heavenly and full of oxytocin. So, but anyway, don't do any of those manipulative things to get attraction. Don't do things that are only rooted in, yeah. Another point, right? Don't do things that are rooted in physical realm and sex. A lot of men do this mistake. I mean, we all have made those mistakes. Don't do that. They can sniff it out pretty early. It's not good for you, right? More than anything, it's not good for you. It won't work. Reasonably, your mind is getting warped by thinking of sex as the sole purpose. Don't do that. They kind of know it. The way you look at them, the way you talk to them, they can just sense it. They're better than the hound of Baskervilles, man. I mean, they have like seventh and tenth senses that you can't even see. I mean, they can see backwards. They can They can smell at a distance. It's like, they can strip you naked just by looking at you. So don't, it shouldn't be the reason either, right? So don't try to manufacture attraction or buy it or wing it or manipulate it. It's not going to work. It should come from a genuine desire to connect with someone. If you don't have that, don't waste your time on such women, right? So that's rule number two, attraction. Don't try to buy it or manufacture it. It's not going to happen. Let it be initiated from her side or not from your side. Number three, don't fake your character or confidence, right? So this is something that's extremely critical, very close to the point that I just mentioned, that you need to level up over a period of time. Don't think that the way you are is what people are going to like you. That's not the way the world works, unfortunately. That's the truth. Hard to tell you. I'm just conveying the message. I didn't make the rule. Learn to build yourself in terms of better character and confidence. If you don't have now, that's fine. Everyone is not the same. It takes time and it takes a lot of practice, just like muscles. These two can be exercised over an extended period of time if you put your mind to it. You need to work on it very consciously. There are amazingly enough channels and materials available online, right? Forget what I'm talking about. There are wonderful, let's say, male influencers on YouTube or other sources where you can see how to build your character and confidence. You cannot fake it. That much I can tell you. You will get, girls can sniff it out in 2 to 3 interactions. So it's not good for you. It's not congruent with your own presence. Your mind is also confused. So don't do that. Build your confidence and character. I think that takes a lot of effort. So that's something that's very critical. Number four, emotional regulation slash intelligence. I think this is extremely critical if you're looking to, let's say, find a partner or find a love, whatever you wanted. When I say emotional regulation intelligence, people can have a lot of doubts on what does he exactly mean by that, right? So I'll just give you a few examples of what it means. Number one, are you, it doesn't mean you're not emotional. Do you have emotions, but do you know how to control it? Do you know how to express it? When to express it, right? That emotional intelligence is extremely critical. It means, it also means you're not needy, you're not desperate, no double texting, right? You text a girl, she doesn't respond, be it 3 days, 4 days, one day, 24 hours, it doesn't matter what it is. Don't double text and ask her what happened. What's wrong with me? Why are you not responding? Don't ever do that. Right? Just leave it. Let it be on red. It doesn't matter. Move on with your life. If you do that, you're going to lose your value in front of the girl. She's going to have the upper hand, and you fail in your hypergamy test and also the emotional intelligence, right? So you can't be doing that. Giving gifts, always being present for her, always texting. These are pretty bad things. It kills attraction for sure. Actually, she's evaluating to see if you're worthy enough of her affection, right? That's what she's looking for. Then you're giving all kinds of signals to give an opposite message of what exactly she's looking for in you. So don't do that. Be kind. Number other point I want to mention here is you have to be kind. I don't like this bad boy kind of a thing. You can be emotionally regulated and restrainful. That emotional intelligence part is fine, but it doesn't mean you need to be rude. You can just be a normal person. Just be kind. Kindness is very valued by men, women, universally. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to be rude, but be very purposeful and stoic. That is exactly what I mean by the emotional restraint part and the intelligence part. And you must be wondering, okay, what's all this nonsense? Why do women purposefully not respond to me when I'm sending a text? What's going on, right? I mean, that's just an evolutionary test. Since they are the weaker sex, right, in terms of strength and power and resources, they need to ensure they balance it out by looking for a man who's way better than her, at least better than her to provide. And they have to also ensure and check whether you're the man who you said you are, right? And they have to test it. So they do it subconsciously, they do it consciously, and it kind of hurts them when you don't pass it, right? So whatever I'm talking to you now are things that they will put you through the test. You need to know what they are. You need to know how to pass them, right? So they will test. It's just an evolutionary mechanism for them to look for safety and protection. And if you fail it, you just fail it. They'll move on, right? Another point I you have to remember is give them a lot of space. Attraction grows only when there is space. You cannot be the person who's available to her all the time. Like I said, double texting, etc. Give it space. If it's like a week or 7 days or maybe more than that of a gap, don't panic. Oh, why is she not reaching out to me? Or should I text her? Don't do that, right? It's okay as a man to initiate text and be the lead role. Obviously, as a man, you're expected to do that. I don't think women will have a problem with that. It's perfectly fine. But at the same time, you should know when to give up a gap. If you're constantly present for her, again, you just come across as extremely desperate. You have nothing else to do, and there's no space created for her to even process your emotions, right? Let's say you gave her a gift, or you had a chat with her, or you spoke about something deeper about life. And then if you don't give her a gap to even think about you, where's the attraction going to come from or go from? The same case for you. You will also get bored if a girl is in touch with you all the time. It's not beautiful. You should give her a lot of space. That's where attraction is. Another point on the same topic of emotional regulation intelligence. This is something that again I spoke to these boys yesterday, and they didn't agree with me, but that's fine. At certain age, people's priorities are different, and as you gain wisdom and grow a little older, you will think that that's more important. Ignore the women you don't like. Don't waste your time on girls who you're not attracted to. This is like, there's a finite amount of energy that your brain has. I think one third of the calories that you take is consumed by the brain. It's such a small 200-gram organ, but it consumes one third or one fourth of your entire calorie intake, right? That's the kind of energy your brain requires to function. And you're wasting, let's say, 20% or half of that on a girl that you don't really like. It doesn't just make any sense. It just shows that you're a weak, non-selective person, and you'll generally be a guy who will, try to get attracted to anything that moves, right? That's the kind of person you come across. So again, this came in the context of when I was telling these boys that you shouldn't be, let's say, screwing anyone, for example, right? Or getting physically intimate with someone that you don't like, or just because she likes you, it doesn't mean that since you have the opportunity, you should be doing it. That's what I was trying to say. And they were like, why not? If it's coming free, why shouldn't I get physically intimate? And particularly when, let's say, she's giving enough hint or signals. And it's in that context that I was mentioning that it's a waste of energy. You might want to conserve your energy and value for the person that you actually like. And that can be a couple of girls that you like. That's fine. Spend your energy on them, not on women you don't like. It's going to leave you empty after sex in any which case. That's what will happen. You can try it if you like. It's up to you. I have no moral judgment on what you want to do, but I would tend to think that it's probably not very beneficial for you, and you shouldn't be approaching from that angle. So this was on the fourth point: emotional intelligence and restraint. Number five is going to be bold and direct and be very authentic, right? Again, I can't stress enough on how important this aspect is going to be. Women generally won't take the initiative. Man needs to. Right? If you're a man, you can't be a pusillanimous fellow into overthinking or analysis paralysis. What is she going to think? Should I tell this? Should I not tell that? Right? If you're in that kind of a limbo, you fail her test of strength and character, right? So you have to be taking the initiative. It doesn't mean you kind of blow up her messages or phone calls. Don't do that. We already discussed it a few minutes ago on emotional restraint and giving space. So take the initiative. It's okay if she doesn't is not as reciprocal as you are. There are different types of women. We'll go through that as too in terms of what people are saying. Sometimes they don't initiate as much as you do, which is perfectly fine. For every maybe three initiations, that will be only one from her side. That is how the initial stages are going to be. And I'll also tell you why it's more on the angle of congruency and safety, which we will cover in point 6 and 7. So in the initial stages, it is going to be you mostly as the lead role, and you have to convey to the girl that yes, I'm a leader, I can be trusted, and I'm going to make efforts to talk to you, and I'm going to put myself in your frame to present myself as an attractive option, right? I want you to consider. That's exactly what you're trying to convey here, isn't it? When you like someone, think of it like a, let's say, even as a job interview, you have a CV, then you have to float it around to 10, 15 different companies to for them to take a look to see if you're a good fit, right? So think of it that way. Another point here, when I said initiative, I said, and I also said be a little bold and direct, right? To don't misconstrue direct as being, telling something like, I want to sleep with you, right? So it's not like that, but I mean, so it's up to you if you want to do that, but generally that's a very stupid thing to do. When I say be bold, you have to show a little bit of character and start speaking your mind reasonably well, right? You have to have that confidence, and these are things that you cannot fake. You and women can sense it pretty easily if you are trying to fake it, right? Because that's the reason they take time. They're not going to be you're a problem solver, right? You like it. Oh, I sent a message, she saw it, she didn't respond, she's checking her phone, she's on social media, she's talking to other people. Why is she not responding to me? I can see her on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, but she's not responding. She's doing it on purpose, man. That's it. It's just one of those things that they are wired that way. If you want to hate them for it, it's up to you. That's not going to help you at all. It's like saying, a man is aggressive. Why should I be upset about it? Yeah, a man is aggressive, a man is hornier, for example. There's nothing wrong with it. That's how they're wired. Similarly, a girl is wired to be a bit more patient, nurturing, and she'll put you through the test. That's important, right? So grow some balls, show some confidence, say what you have to, but say it with a bit of what do you call professionalism is not the right word. Be a little polished, I would say, right? Say it with class. For example, oh, you look hot, you look beautiful. That's a very dud thing to say, particularly if it's a beautiful girl, right? You could say, like, this dress is looking very classy and you have great choices. Or you could say, I think I find you attractive, right? It's fine. No, nobody's going to feel bad when somebody tells you, oh, you look attractive, right? But that's kind of class. Don't go and say you look hot, your ass is nice. Don't be stupid, right? Don't do all of that, and gently remove all these physical aspects and stop praising them for their eyebrows, ears, and nonsense, right? Don't do all of that. Try and look beyond that, and you will actually find a lot beyond that if you talk to them at a reasonable level. And that's the part which is going to be very interesting if you want to explore them. They'll actually open up and show you sites that you'll find very interesting. Cool. In general, women will not be very direct with you, but they'll give you very subtle signals or signs, right? And I'm not going to go deep into these signs. There are a lot of YouTube channels on people who talk about it. Psychax, Josh and Jays, and much other great male influencers who speak about it. You can check that out. Some may work, some may not work. But in general, yeah, you have to be capable of reading those signals. This takes time. This takes a lot of practice, failings, and missteps, etc. So when I say missteps, you will read the signals wrongly. Men do that a lot, right? Since we are not very cared for, since we are never complimented in our life, no man gets complimented, very rare, right? Whereas it's the opposite for a girl. Even a small sign of care and attraction or attention from a girl, we immediately start thinking she likes me, she wants to sleep with me, right? That's exactly what goes on in our mind. And then that puts you in a very negative frame, negative masculine frame. It's not a masculine frame to be, if you think like that, but we do that, right? That's the problem. When that happens, it kind of, it's a misstep. So you'll go through some of these. It takes time to practice, but don't give up, right? Just like muscles, like I told you, these are the reason I'm talking about all of this is it takes months, maybe years to even practice. So the time is now. If you're someone in your 20s, 30s looking to marry or looking to love someone, doesn't matter. It can be of any age. You're looking to remarry, it doesn't matter, right? This whatever I'm talking or universal laws doesn't change. So takes time, practice, you will fail, but eventually you will learn and you'll keep learning, right? Watch out for those signals, those furtive glances, the corner smiles, the mirror looks in the gym, coming into your space, a lot of things, it's not very hard to find. You will see that I'll not go very deep into it. Yeah. The other thing sometimes I've seen is, oh, people tell me, no, oh, no, we know that no, it's only the tall, handsome, rich guys who are able to attract good-looking women or even average-looking women. I'm not any of that, or I lack in one of these three things or two things. So I don't get to. I'm not the preferred choice for most of them, right? I understand. I mean, uh, but what I'm going to tell you is that you don't really have to be too attractive. You don't need to be the Tom Cruise or Henry Cavill. You can probably be someone average like me. I kind of rate myself maybe a 4.5 on 10. And I have no issues getting attention from women at this age, at 47, 48. I'm not finding it hard to get attention, particularly in the last couple of years and more in the last, let's say, 6 months to 8 months. And I'm not trying to be boastful here. I'm just telling you the fact because I never got any attention all my life, right? So no, there's no woman who ever came, has ever come and told me that I like you or you look attractive. Nobody till date. The only person who probably liked me is the one who married me, right? And that was also an arranged marriage. But I'm just telling you, not trying to be boastful, but yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's not really looks all the time. Yes, looks helps, right? Obviously, I'm not going to say looks don't matter. Looks matter, not to the degree or the factor that you think that it matters. You don't need to be ripped. You don't need to be, let's say, that six pack or muscular. It helps if you're fit. That's good enough. But yeah, that's not the only thing that matters. And again, I'm not a rich guy. I mean, 3 years back, I had 37 rupees in the bank. I was down to the numb. Me and my kids were laughing, seeing the last statement that came from HDFC. I've been in bad spots. That doesn't mean, you have to just, fight it out. You're in the boxing ring of life. You need to have that emotional regulation, intelligence that I spoke about, restraint, everything. Pick yourself up, know that you can fight, and all of that cannot be manufactured. You need to practice it. It takes a bit of discipline and hard work. That's all it takes. So again, you will generally know if you're attractive. It takes time, and when I say attractive, it's not looks. The reason I'm saying you have to be attractive to them is because of all these other characters that I spoke about, emotional intelligence, to your honesty, to your boldness, to your confidence, your authenticity, and the kind of energy that you radiate. When I told at the start of this recording session that the last 2, 3 weeks I've been feeling really great, it's because a lot of people actually came and spoke to me. A lot of new attention, new calls, phone calls, people and stuff. And I reached out to a few people. I spoke to them. I went for a couple of walks with a couple of friends here, and generally it's been great socializing, good deep discussions with people, more fun, I would say, more meaningful discussions, and it's been good, right? I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. You radiate that positive energy, and women can really sense it. They are gifted that way. They can just sense the positive energy, and that's what they like. Oh, this guy is confident. He's not needy. He walks straight with his chest up and good shoulders, has a good confident look in his eyes, the smile, all of that matters. And think of yourself as a complete package. I mean, she's not looking at you and thinking, oh, this guy has six packs or earns $1 million or 7 crores in the bank. That's not how she's thinking, right? She's going to just look at 10 men and then think, oh, this guy looks different. He's radiating something. That's the attractive part that you need to be striving for. That's point number 5 done. Explain what is boldness, confidence, authenticity, etc. Number 6, key part, safety. Now, a lot of these tests, a lot of these patients, everything is all centered around her safety. You would have seen on social media or even any literature that you read that women always say that I don't feel safe, I don't feel safe. The country is quite safe. Almost every country is quite safe. But still, due to evolutionary reasons, they still feel a little unsafe. When they're walking, they're always checking at the back, who's looking at me, who's coming behind me. You would see that women do that, right? Even if you're at a distance, they'll suddenly turn. Whereas you won't even bother, right? Why is that happening? So that's the sharpened sensors that they have in terms of both smell, eyesight, ears, etc. So they're always looking for some kind of safety, and they are seeing whether you can be trusted and am I going to be safe with him. There's a lot of cracks out there, a lot of psychos out there, a lot of stupid asinine men out there who do ridiculous things, not in terms of physical abuse and just stupid things. They'll talk to you, take screenshots and threaten you that I'll put it on Instagram or defame you, etc. So these are things that women are really scared about. What if he tells my parents or my husband? For it can be a bunch of other things, right? So you need to be the person who has to assure her of safety by not saying it, but in terms of actions. She's not going to ask you, I feel unsafe with you, but she's going to kind of predicate the fact that you are unsafe till you prove that you're safe to me. So the test is on you, right? They think of a lot about safety. Is it safe? Is it even safe to talk to him? Is it safe to message him? Will he expose me? Um, because they're very vulnerable, right? And when they expose these vulnerabilities to you, they need to be absolutely sure that you will keep it to yourself and not to anyone, right? It's okay if it's if it's a relationship, it can be an extramarital affair, whatever, it can be anything that you have. You as a man cannot be telling it to anyone, right? Never reveal her name to anyone because she's putting that kind of trust in you. So yeah, essentially be a man of your words. Are you someone who does what he says? That's what they are actually looking for. So you need to be a safe person, a good man. Right? When that happens is when they're gonna open up. They know that you're okay. She knows you're safe. I can trust him. And bunch of other characters are already tick marked. Great. Now she then frees herself from all the encumbrances that she has, and then says, "Now I can be free." The girl, the daughter that you have at home, is not going to behave as the daughter when she's a wife, isn't it? Have you seen it? Your wife is totally different with her parents than with you. Why is that? Because probably she's not just being herself with you. That's the reason. So when they see a man with whom they can be themselves, that's the most natural form of expression for them. And it's your job to bring that out. And I know what you're thinking. Why is it always on the man? If that's what you're thinking, yeah, that's how it is. Because it's we who need them more than what they need us for. So obviously you have to make all that effort. When you give them that comfort, when you give them the safety, and by being your authentic self, by being emotionally regulated, by being stoic, by being masculine, by being bold and charismatic, their fun, natural, and jocular self will be very, very evident. And that's when their pure care will come to you. Otherwise, they're going to hold it for themselves and they'll never give it to you. If you want their pure care and affection and their fun side of life, you need to put them in that situation so that they can express it to you, right? That's what I'm trying to convey. What else? Cool. She'll just mirror you only if she feels safe and trust. That's it. Number seven, important. I just touched upon it while ago. Congruency test and energy. Right. Okay. This is very simple. What is congruency test? It's one of those tests that she will keep on doing from time to time, and people may think, "What's all this nonsense shit test that women do?" Because it's again to basically to just see if you're the man who advertised yourself to be, right? You can just pose yourself as a very strong, muscular man on Instagram or the muscles and that beard and everything. And then if you're a very needy, double texty, gutter kind of a guy, then she's very disappointed, right? So she's going to put you through all the kind of tests to see if you're congruent with yourself. And she can sense it from your energy. Are you the man who she thinks you are? That's something that she's going to find out. It's very important for her to know that you're a strong guy. That's very important. She actually is going to observe you always. She's already done research on all kinds of online evidence or presence that you have. She's going to track you and see if you're improving. Are you a very genuine guy? Are you really working pretty hard? Are you just comfortable with the way you are, right? So all of that is something that she's going to completely test you on. Essentially, when people say, "Oh, I want some real man," and there's multiple definitions. One of the things that I think is more relevant is if you're a man who does what he says, that's good enough, right? That's what she is also looking for, and because that's what she needs. Cannot blame them for what they want because that's the world order and that's the law of nature, right? So no point blaming them for it. Like manosphere people do that. She's a gold digger. She's putting me through all the tests. That's life, man. You nobody's going to give you a job if you just because you have a CV and you have a LinkedIn profile, right? Isn't it? You need to advertise yourself. You need to work hard, take multiple rounds of interviews, put yourself through some tests, right? The same thing. And again, the same. And when it comes to congruency and energy tests, as I said, better than hound of Baskervilles, they can sense and feel your energy at a distance or when they're close by. Very smart at that. They're way, way smarter than men, right? And that's good. That's good for your life, right? So they actually can sense it if it's fake or real. So make sure you are that person that you claimed yourself to be. That's your congruency part. Number eight, polarity, right? Now, this is again an interesting part, nothing too complicated, but I'll go a little deeper into it. Now, there are two things, right? Just like magnets, north and south pole, with which attract each other. That's why a man is attracted to the feminine is attracted to the masculine. It's a different matter of sorrow that today most men are actually feminine and a lot of women are actually masculine. That's unfortunate. But that's what it is. There are, hopefully there are still some masculine men left in the world, and hopefully there are many feminine women still left in the world for us to find each other. So let's go. So what is masculine? Directional, purposeful, well planned, containment, holding boundaries, being very steadiness, right? Steadiness and being present, emotional regulation, all of that is masculine polarity, right? What is feminine? More expressive, flowing, ups and downs, emotional, but very nurturing, intuitive, sharp, very receptive, and a little more emotional. So these are the feminine qualities that she has. Now, the feminine also tests you because she knows she's on the emotionally unregulated charter, right? It goes ups and downs based on her cycles and the time of the month. And it's kind of hard for herself again. So she's again, putting you through all that ups and downs and the test, the anger and the, withdrawals and lack of texting, lack of initiation, etc. to see if you can hold your ground, man. It's actually a good thing if she's putting you through test. Of course, prolonged lack of initiatives is something that you should understand and then move on. Don't waste your energy on such women. But yeah, so this is something that's the masculine and feminine. Essentially, what is she looking for? Basically, she's testing whether you're the rock that she can depend on, and you have to espouse the qualities that I mentioned in the last maybe 15-20 minutes. Some of these 7 points that we spoke about, and we are at the eighth point. Again, it doesn't mean you don't get emotional at all, right? I get angry. I also get frustrated when somebody doesn't respond to me, and I've asked a question, there's no response for a week. You can think about it, but you should not react to it. That is exactly what I call the emotional regulation. This you have to keep in mind. This is the masculine frame. This is the masculine angle that she's looking for. Can he hold himself without texting me again as to what happened? Is he the person that he claimed to be? Is he strong? Is he masculine? Is he stoic? Right? She's continuously asking this question to you. So you have to be that person. She doesn't respond. She doesn't respond. Move on. Right? There's no dearth of beautiful women in the world. In fact, there's a dearth of a lot of masculine men in the world. So you're the prize. You always have to think of yourself as the prize, not the woman as the prize. Because as I said, hypergamy, put yourself at slightly at a higher level than her. That's when there is a space and reason for attraction. Otherwise, there's no attraction. Women won't marry the burger joint guy, right? He's a nice guy, but the women won't marry him. Whereas tomorrow I'll probably, marry a sweeper or somebody who flips burgers or makes pizzas if I like her and if she's pretty. That's it. I won't think twice. Can she be a good mother? Yeah, let's go. That's it, right? So that's how it is. That's one of the reasons for women to get attracted to you, that you need to be a rock that you can depend on. If you're not that person, that's fine. You can cultivate these things. It's not like it's difficult to acquire. It just requires practice, as I said. Every bit of what I'm saying is acquirable skill. That's what I'm saying. It's not that I had all the skill, but a lot of these things I practice deliberately with people every single day at work, at personal relationships with men, women. I practice this. That's how I know these things work. Right? I failed miserably in many cases, but now things are changing, right? In the last few months, that's when I said I've learned these things by putting it to practice. Cool. Uh, we spoke about polarity. Yeah. So one of the things is you have to understand that a loving woman or someone who cares for you, she'll give you subtle signals. It's pretty evident. A caring woman actually can make a man do wonders to himself and his confidence. A lot of good women will do that. In fact, some of them withdraw their attention to you because they want you to focus on yourself and not too much on her. Sometimes when they go reticent or silent, go MIA, evolve, whatever you want to call it, men give up, right? They're going to chase her, bombard her with phone calls and messages. Don't do that. It's sometimes maybe she doesn't like you. That could be the reason. And sometimes with the fact that she actually wants you to improve and not chase her, because no woman likes when a man chases her. Simple. It should be the other way, right? So you be the man who can be chased and not like a dog, right? But be the man that women like to chase, right? Like being with you. So essentially, when we speak about polarity, right, there's a lot of more nuances to it, but I'll just cover things a little quickly. So it's been already a pretty long one, right? A little bit of restraint, patience, emotional steadiness we spoke about, not really pressing when she is reserved, she's withdrawing. Just hold your own ground in all those anxious moments, right? Things like she'll kind of make fun of you, she'll pull your leg, she'll say you're arrogant. These are things women do subconsciously. You should just be able to laugh it off. And it's not easy to laugh it off when someone trips your ego, right? And then how do you do it is a question if you ask as a man. You need to practice it again. These are all tests that they'll put you through. You just need to practice it, and that comes with a little bit of emotional restraint and patience that you consciously work on, right? So, for example, you should never be asking, "Oh, did you see my message? Did you like what I sent you? Like, good morning, this good evening. I'm waiting for your response." I mean, don't do that, guys. I mean, anxiety is pretty normal. It's okay if you feel irritated, like, what the hell, you be? Why are you not responding? Yeah, everybody feels it. Don't react. It's okay if she doesn't respond. Just wait, give a gap, reach out after a week, 10 days. That's still fine. No, she would have processed the gap and that's much easier. Yeah. Essentially, delayed gratification, like I've told you, like Jim, like delayed gratification. That's how you learn. Great. You don't be in a hurry, restraint. Bad news, good news, pretty much everything you have to be able to handle with equanimity. That's exactly what the masculine polarity or form is going to be, which essentially means anything bad can happen. No, your wife might run away with your neighbor or a colleague, or your son can probably hack somebody in the school and go to the jail. It shouldn't really perturb you too much. I mean, I know it's going to affect you, of course, when these things happen, but are you able to handle it? That's exactly the thing that I want you to have. And I think now I've come to that state where I can handle all of these things. A great, happy, good news doesn't move me that much. A super negative news doesn't affect me as much. I've just started to take things as they are, and that takes a little bit of time. Right. I'll also give you some specific examples of even my company, Eagle, right? 2022, the company was almost down. I sent a mail to, in fact, in all this podcast, I've never spoken about my startup. So I ran a company called Eagle for a long time from 2017 onwards. Uh, it was not doing well in 2022. I decided to shut it down exactly 3 years ago in August. A lot of my customers then came back and said, "Don't shut it down. The product is pretty good. We would like to use it and pay you for it. Just keep it going." But I don't know how to do it. There were no engineers. Everybody had left. Nothing much was happening. Then I just realized, okay, if what can I do about it, right? And over a period of next couple of years, I started reaching out to people, friends and network. Had somebody work on it part time all the time, and now the momentum is built that there are at least 4 or 5 different people who work on it part time on at any given point in time. At least 2 to 3 guys on weekends who can spend 3 4 hours. They're just keeping it alive, and we're able to add features at a pretty good pace. Do I feel, I mean, it's pretty hard. Do I feel overwhelmed? Yeah. Have I felt like giving up? Hundreds of times, thousands of times in the last 3 years. Because I get continuous calls from customer. This is not working. This has failed. What has happened? And then you talk to the engineer. He's in a job. He's traveling. He's not going to respond. You should be able to handle all the pressure and then find answers. Okay, great. Somebody is taking off of Eagle. He cannot work on it for the next 2 months. What do you do? Then you find another person to, step in and take care of it, right? So you need to be able to have that kind of fighting spirit. When I say masculine frame, you it's not like you can't fail, right? Even I failed a lot and I continue to fail, but you have to have that aptitude or attitude to keep fighting. It's not, as they say, no, it's the fight in the dog, not about the dog in the fight, right? You have to be that kind of a person. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. 8 important points that you need to keep in mind. I think I'll just summarize it again so that you don't forget. Polarity is number 8, congruency, safety, bold, authentic, and direct. Emotional regulation, intelligence, very critical. Not being able to, don't fake your character and confidence, build it up. I wanted to build confidence. Don't manufacture attraction, make it happen. And hypergamy, point number 1. So these are the 8 topics we spoke about. At the start, I also spoke about some cultural, or let's say literary relation or connection, right? So I was incidentally someone in a WhatsApp group had forwarded Thirukkuarl YouTube link to me, and then I started watching it. I had written notes for this podcast yesterday morning itself. I woke up and wrote this down, and then this came, I think, yesterday evening, and then I started watching about 5 to 10 minutes into it, and couple of things were into a little bit of love relationships, called under the chapter called, I think, Inbattu Pal in Tamil, sections 1100 to 1330. That's what That's where it's all about love, attraction, union, separation, patience, masculinity, and femininity, a treasure trove for people or for couples. These couplets touch deeply on how men should carry themselves, how women express love, on what makes attraction natural, effortless, and beyond manipulation. That is what Thiruvallur has written 2000 years ago. I'm not going to read all the Quran here, but before I end, I'm going to read about a few things which exactly is just adapted into new forms in the modern world by the manospheres, right? That's whatever I spoke about is present in these texts in some form 2000, 2500 years ago, right? For example, modesty, fear of wrong, and honor. These protect a man's dignity. Attraction cannot be faked. True character commands respect. I think 1121. Is there a life? Is there life and love without longing? That's Kural 1105. We exist, we live, we rejoice. Is there love without longing? For men, confidence is in loudness, but showing purpose and presence. And then there's another one about 1126. When embraced, shame itself turns into beauty. Women sense authenticity immediately, like I told you. Just as you noted, congruency is everything. On women's expression of love, love begins like a small treasure, but it grows really vast, richer than wealth. Her care is no such small thing. It can elevate a man's confidence profoundly, right? That's the power of a woman's love or care that she can have for you. That's Thirukkuarl 1127. Then there's 1129. She looks, he returns a look, and in that silent glance, sparks fly. Real attraction is never manufactured. That's 1129. 1153. Being united is bliss. Parting is sorrow. There's no sharper joy or pain to life than this polarity of union and separation. See, he talks about being together and then there is a separation or a gap, right? The angle of space that I spoke about, that's exactly kind of indirectly, right? Not exactly matching. So he speaks a lot about physical glance, looks, etc. Of course, it doesn't happen as much these days because of, let's say, internet or long distance romance, maybe text and videos and phone calls, but the fundamentals don't really change. Evolutionary, like I've always told in previous podcast, I rely a lot on evolutionary behavior psychology. We've not changed much in terms of how we were 200,000 years ago. The brain is the same. And then on topics of patience, restraint, and space, he basically says, in union, silence is meaningful. Sometimes saying less is sweeter than any word. Restraint makes intimacy deeper. All right. This kind of explains about the uh, phase in which, let's say, she reacts to you very angrily or in a funny way or gives you a lot of gap, makes fun of you, whatever it is, right? Stay restraintful. That's it. That's when you retain your frame. Her attraction towards you is going to grow. Simple. Is any suffering worse than enduring the longing of separation? This again, same point about delayed gratification. Do not push. Wait. That the gap is what creates space for women to start loving you. She's going to lie down on those lonely nights and think about you. That's how they process emotions and love. On women testing safety and trust, a few more corals before we wind up. Sweet is sleeping on the tender shoulders of one who protects. Of course, imagining her on your shoulders, right? Safety is a primary instinct she checks for. If congruency, if she sees her lover say one thing and do another, her life loses meaning. He's written it in a much more beautiful way in Tamil. I can't pronounce it very well. That's why I'm avoiding. I'm relying on the translation or a transliteration, which is not accurate, but I hope you get the meaning. So congruency, when I say is non-negotiable, that's what she is. So it kind of hurts her when you're not the guy that she thought you were, right? So obviously you have to build yourself in a way that that's believable and trustworthy. Another one, a woman knows instinctively when you are inconsistent or insincere, her heart feels the sting. Again, it's very related to congruency and figuring out that you're a disingenuous, inconsistent idiot. Then she can sense it pretty easily and instinctively. That's the energy and sense that she can feel. To the last couple of things on polarity of masculine and feminine behavior. What has Thiruvallur said? Let's see that on masculine, direct, grounded, and steady. True joy is found in containment, in quiet presence, in holding boundaries, right? A man has to have boundaries. This masculine quiet presence is very important, very contentful. Feminine, expressive, flowing, and nurturing. Women don't seek words alone, but they express love in ways that flow, often subtle and intuitive. So apparently, Thiruvallur also said No man can ever find out how a woman expresses these signals and love. But the more you learn, the better. But essentially, he's saying it's so hard to find out what she has in her heart. They don't say it with words all the time. It's very subtle senses, actions, behaviors, glances, and you cannot unravel it. No man can ever unravel it, is what he himself has said. So don't try to find answers to everything in life. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I spoke about silence, responsiveness, engagement, initiation patterns. Like you can be the guy who initiates more often than the girl. It's fine. There'll be less reciprocity initially from the girl, but as she gets comfortable, she feels safe and trust in you, she will open up and open her vulnerable side of you. Make sure you don't misuse that. You as a man have to be a man of your word and honor. That's what she's looking for. That's something that you should remember. Emotional fluctuation messages. So she's going to sometimes, her anger is also an expression of her love. There's no single way they do that. So the emotional fluctuation is something that you should be prepared for. So this, again, pretty much it, right? I think I've covered whatever I had to. And I know this was pretty long, but I thought it has to be long to be able to drive the message. If you're a guy in your 20s and 30s trying to find a good woman as a partner, I can tell you that these are things that she's looking for, and she will never tell you these things. Go and ask your good girlfriends, hey, are these things in your mind? Are you looking for A, B, C, D, 1 to 8 points that Vinod was mentioning in the video or somebody spoke about on YouTube? She's never going to say yes to it. Uh, it's up to you to know that this is what she expects. And of course, you're not faking it. If you have some of these qualities, you are a winner, man. You're a winner, right? Okay, cool. That pretty much comes to the end of this podcast. Next week, I'll come up with something more interesting. If you thought this was interesting, or if you had any interesting experiences with women where you screwed up or you did pretty well, let me know. Drop a comment or share it with people who you think might benefit from this. Show me some love. If you like the video, put a like and drop in a comment. I'll see you next week soon. Cheers, buddy. Happy hunting.